And they're really yucking it up. Trump and Mitch McConnell at the White House. They just had a powwow, and now they're meeting with the press to answer some questions after the powwow. Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump. We're rolling. We'll have audio for you in the next hour. But one of the things that just happened, Trump was talking about tax reform, and we want to get it done this year. And Mitch McConnell standing there, big smile on his face. Trump says we want to get it done this calendar year, and I think we can. And Mitch is eager to get to the microphone. He's practically elbowing Trump out of the way. And so Trump surrenders the microphone. And Mitch gets up there and says, we're going to try to get tax reform done this calendar year, but I want to remind all of you, Obamacare, he didn't get that done until June of year 2. And Dodd-Frank, Obama didn't get that done until sometime in year 2. And we haven't even finished year 1 with Trump. We're going to get this done before the end of the year. I think, the fear of God, I think now is in some of these Republican establishment types. For how long, I don't know. But a statement Lindsey Graham made yesterday on, Face the Nation. We'll have that coming up. Show you. Greetings and welcome back. It's great to have you as the Rush Limbaugh program races on. The fastest 3 hours in media. The Trump-Mitch McConnell Lovefest is continuing. Now, our microphones are there. You want to listen to a little bit of this? Let's jip this. Our microphones are everywhere. Don't know how long it's going to go on, but just to give you a flavor for it.
Effort was undertaken successfully, and we're going to succeed this time. The bills, the details of them, will be written by the Ways and Means and Finance committees after we approve the budget, and obviously the budget opens the path to tax reform. But it's about both reform and reduction.
That's right.
Why haven't we heard anything from you so far about the soldiers that were killed in Niger and what you had to say about that?
I've written them personal letters. They've been sent or they're going out tonight, but they were written during the weekend. I will, at some point during the period of time, call the parents and the families, because I have done that traditionally. I felt very, very badly about that. I always feel badly. It's the toughest calls I have to make are the calls where this happens. Soldiers are killed. It's a very difficult thing. Now, it gets to a point where, you make 4 or 5 of them in one day is a very, very tough day. For me, that's by far the toughest. So the traditional way, if you look at President Obama and other presidents, most of them didn't make calls. A lot of them didn't make calls. I like to call when it's appropriate, when I think I'm able to do it. They have made the ultimate sacrifice. So generally, I would say that I like to call. I'm going to be calling them. I want a little time to pass. I'm going to be calling them. I have, as you know, since I've been president, I have.
We got into this late, folks. The bulk of this has been about tax reform and the Republican agenda, the Trump agenda going forward. And trust me, how eager, ready to go Mitch McConnell seems to be. Now, I didn't fall off a turnip truck. I don't want anybody misunderstanding me when I said it looks like the fear of God is in these people, but I honestly think something has happened here. I think there is full-fledged panic that ratchets up and increases each and every day throughout the entire Republican establishment and the Washington establishment. What Trump has shown, he is not being stopped or beaten down by these people, as evidenced by removing the subsidies for the insurance companies in Obamacare and once again subjecting Obamacare to the rule of law. He has no qualms. Trump has no qualms about bypassing Congress. And these senators especially don't want to appear to be unnecessary, and they certainly don't want to appear to be ineffective in stopping Trump. There are many incumbents up for re-election both in 2018 and 2020, and none of them are going to be assisted or helped if they appear to be unnecessary or ineffective. And I don't think most of the people in these Republican senator states want Trump stopped. And that's one of the things that's been hurting these people. And It appears here, and I must say that we have to always hold out the possibility that what's said on a microphone doesn't have a long lifespan. Let's put it that way. It could be just pandering and so forth. But there has been a meeting up there today, and something's got to give, and it isn't going to be Trump. Trump is making it perfectly clear that he's going to get done as much as he can without them as with them. And if that ends up making them look unnecessary, I mean, if the Trump agenda is seen by a majority of Americans as a positive agenda, something they support, and the Republicans in Congress seem unnecessary for it, that's not good for them. Mitch McConnell said before we gypped it, we're friends. We've been friends for a long time. Despite what's being reported, Trump and I have been friends for a long time, and we're working together to make America great. And he went on and on about how they're going to work as hard as they can to get tax reform done this calendar year. Now, folks, whether it's genuine and sincere or not, I don't know yet, but I can tell you that elected Republicans all of a sudden are kissing up to Trump voters. All of a sudden. Trump even said in this little confab here that he might be able to talk Bannon out of what he's doing. Bannon is out seeking Republicans to run as primary opponents to sitting senators and members of Congress if they are not helping Trump advance his agenda. And now there's a confluence of events happening here that make it appear that the Republicans in Congress have seen the light. Now, again, we say this with guarded expectations. We'll wait and see if it actually is real rather than just words being spoken into a microphone. But I have to tell you, I'm looking at Trump. He doesn't look like he is alone. It doesn't look like he is abandoned. It doesn't look like he is unhinged. He doesn't look like he is anything but sane, calm, positive, healthy, and funny. He's actually pulling McConnell along with him. McConnell is a tortoise. He's a turtle in terms of the speed at which he moves. Trump is literally pulling him along with him in this presser. And McConnell is reacting favorably in this regard. Trump also said something, this is incredible. The subject of health care and drug companies came up. And, well, not just drug companies. But I forget what the question was, but the point that Trump made was health care companies losing subsidies because he has eliminated them gave massive amounts of money to politicians. And he looked at McConnell. He said, they may have given money to you, Mitch, but I'm not interested in their money. I don't need the money of health care companies, drug companies. I don't need it. And then he pledged to do a massive amount of work on reducing prescription drug prices. And he talked about how cheaply they can be purchased overseas, such as in Canada, and how this isn't going to stand. But pointing out that these healthcare companies losing subsidies gave massive amounts of money to politicians. I have no doubt that that's true. That's why they gave the money. They gave a lot of it to members of the House and Senate. They gave a lot of money to Obama. And now all that money has proved worthless because the subsidies are gone. And you tack welfare reform onto this agenda. And I'll tell you, folks, it's a breakneck pace here with which the Obamacare, well, every aspect of the Obama agenda is being obliterated. It's exactly what we have wanted. It is exactly what we have wanted. And last week alone, 4 elements of the Obama agenda were blown to smithereens. The Iran deal, climate change, pulling out of that officially, reducing the subsidies, getting rid of them, in Obamacare, and there was one other. And now moving on welfare reform. And all the Democrats can do is whine and talk. We've got columns in the Washington Post today. Mike Gerson, former Bush aide, time to panic. His message to Republicans in Washington, it's time to panic. That Trump is truly unfit and we need to explore the 25th Amendment and getting rid of him. Now, I mentioned Lindsey Graham. Grab audio soundbite number 15 on Face the Nation yesterday. John Dickerson talking to him. Dickerson said, what about what Steve Bannon said this week in the season of war comment? We played the Bannon soundbites where he basically said the war is on against the Republican establishment. Republican senators and members of the House who are actively seeking to thwart the Trump agenda and not advance it. We are at war with them, and we are going to replace them. And so CBS asked Lindsey Graham his thoughts on this.
If we don't cut taxes and we don't eventually repeal and replace Obamacare, then we're going to lose across the board in the House in 2018. And all of my colleagues running in primaries in 2018 will probably get beat. It will be the end of Mitch McConnell as we know it. If we're successful, Mitch McConnell's fine. If we're not, we're all in trouble. We lose our majority, and I think President Trump will not get reelected.
Now, that's just common sense, but that's not what these people were saying last week. Now, what happened? Now, Trump went out and played golf with Lindsey Graham, and it's not that they played golf, but maybe Lindsey Graham actually heard Trump for the first time. It's a one-on-one situation. Well, whoever's with them on the golf course. I'm convinced that people live in Washington in the establishment think in ways you and I wouldn't recognize. They are not connected to the rest of the country. The disconnect between the ruling class and the establishment and the people who make the country work is bigger than ever. It's a gigantic divide. And there's so much resentment there that I don't think there's much time spent actually thinking or trying to understand what the American people think. But Lindsey Graham all of a sudden sounds like he gets it. He's basically saying, look, what Bannon is doing will be irrelevant if we do the agendas. What have I been saying? If they would just for 3 months. Just 3 months. And by the way, October, November, December, Mitch says we're going to get tax reform done this calendar year, says he's going to try. He gave himself an out, though. He reminded everybody that Obama didn't get his big deals until his second year, so he gave himself an excuse. But he made it sound like they're eager to get this tax reform thing done and then the budget. And if that happens, then nobody's going to be primarying these guys. Nobody's going to be looking to oust them. Well, it's going to get harder to do that. Might not stop people from trying. But the point is, this, to me, seems like a pretty fast overnight shift in positions. And I happen to say it because it's true. If these guys in the House and Senate on the Republican side would just, even if they just make it look like they are trying to advance the Trump agenda, instead of opposing it, instead of trying to stop it, if they make it look like finally they're actually working together as a party to move forward the agenda of the man elected president, and if they succeed, they can own Washington for a generation. Maybe that got through to some of them. Because up till now, they've been listening to not you. They've not been listening to voters. They have been listening to donors and lobbyists and whoever else they consider more dangerous or a greater threat to them. But something has happened. The message has gotten through it. Now, Russ, these people aren't stupid. They know that the voters are not happy with them. Folks, you don't. Well, I think you do understand the arrogance. This situation is not altogether different from the NFL. They don't know who their audience is, and I don't think the Washington establishment knows who its audience really is either. And because an outsider has been elected president, That audience now matters to the establishment, whether they want it to or not, and they have to respond to it. So we'll see. This is just one day. Remember now, I have my expectations guarded on this, but we have not seen this kind of cooperation publicly, energetically, since election night and the immediate aftermath. And then it died down. And we never saw it again. We didn't see it around inauguration time. We didn't see it in the aftermath of the inauguration. We saw it for a couple of weeks after the election, and that was it. Now it's back. The appearance of unity and moving rapidly to advance the agenda. But people are going to need more than words. They're going to need to see some action. They don't doubt Trump. They don't have any concerns that Trump means it. They don't have any concerns that Trump is serious about it, and they certainly don't doubt Trump is going to work for it. But the other guys, they have some evidence to produce. And that evidence will be in their actions. Time will tell. Back in a moment. All right, we have some audio sound bites here of Trump and McConnell on taxes. And here's Trump saying it. Everything is great with McConnell. It's better than great. It's outstanding.
Well, I would like to see it be done this year. I would like very much to see it be done this year. If we get it done, that's a great achievement. Democrat, Republican are meeting right now. And right now they're working on something very special. But I have to tell you, I really believe that we have a very good chance, and I think Mitch feels the same way, of getting the taxes done, hopefully fairly long before the end of the year. That's what we'd like to see.
Wow, we're only in the middle of October, or already, I should say, and he wants to get it done fairly long before the end of the year. Means he wants to get it done way before the year ends. Here's Mitch.
Let me just add to what the president said. The goal is to get it done this calendar year.
Hold
but
it a minute.
It's important to remember.
Hold it a minute. Have you ever heard this guy speak with this much energy? Normally it's, let me just add to what the president has said. The Senate, you compare it to a saucer underneath a hot cup of coffee. Washington's boiling over. Sentiment, emotion. We are the saucer. Collects that overflow and cools everything down. That's the normal way he talks. Listen to this.
Let me just add to what the president said. The goal is to get it done this calendar year. But it is important to remember that Obama signed Obamacare in March of year 2. Obama signed Dodd-Frank in July of year 2. We're going to get this job done, and the goal is to get it done by the end of the year.
Holy sweet, it normally take him 45 seconds to say that. If he's on the floor of the Senate, here it took him 17 standing next to Trump. Another illustration of my value as program host. Who else would notice such a thing, much less mention it and have people go, damn, that's right.